Debbie. 5 seconds. Add 30 seconds. Add 30 seconds.
Good.
Can you not hear anybody?
I don't think they can. Sorry about that. Hello, my fellow foam fling enthusiasts. This is Andrew, aka Dart Sweep, and welcome to another episode of the Foam Zone. Oh, my green screen's going all crazy. There we go. All right. Well, thank you for joining us this evening. If you can't tell, I am still recovering from Maryland Mayhem a little bit. But first of all, I just want to thank everyone that was able to join us and come out for Maryland Mayhem 2024. Really appreciate all the sponsors and donators, vendors, volunteers, everyone that came together and helped this year's Maryland Mayhem event come together. And hopefully, I haven't heard the feedback yet, but it sounds like it was pretty well received again this year. So yeah, I hope everyone had a fantastic time and appreciate everyone that was able to come out. At the same token, I do want to say, as the World Foam Alliance, it is our goal to do our best to try to promote as many events as possible. I know there were other events that were happening simultaneously during Maryland Mayhem weekend, and in hindsight, I wish we would have been able to promote those a little bit more as well. So going forward, if there is an event or anything like that going on that you think is worth checking out, even if it's just a local club event, whenever we have a live stream, just go in the live chat and let us know that something is coming up. I know Ithaca had an invitational the same weekend as well. So if there's anything like that, anyone, go ahead and just drop us a little message down in the live chat. We'd love to reach out, make a point of contact, and be able to promote all the events that are going on throughout our hobby community as well. So let's see. I know that Survival Fest is just around the corner, and they just released their Player's Guide Handbook. So if you haven't had a chance to register or take a look at that, I'd highly recommend you do that. It's a pretty involved game, and they have certain specific game mechanics. So getting familiar with their rule sets and recommendations and tips and tricks for having fun at the event would be a good idea. So definitely check out their website. Make sure you get a chance to take a look at that handbook. Also, I think the vendor applications are still open. So if you're interested in showcasing anything, feel free to fill out that application and get there. Also, End War is coming up weekend of the 5th, 6th, and 7th of July. So if you are looking to make plans, visit the End War HVZ website for that information. I believe they're moving FoamCon and FPT to Friday, but both are going to be on campus, I believe. So that should be exciting. Also, they're going to be doing 2 days of HVZ, it sounds like. So the Saturday will be the first full day, and then it sounds like in the morning on Sunday, they'll be doing kind of the final missions for that. So exciting format. Definitely looking forward to seeing that and seeing how that goes. But all that information can be found on End War's HVZ website, along with Survival Fest website. So, and again, if there's anything else that's coming up soon, feel free to just drop that down in the live chat and let us know. Oh, it looks like so it looks like Kelsey just said Grove City College is having their invite on the 17th and 18th. I'm not sure which month that is. We'll get clarification. But yeah, so Grove City. So if we know anyone at Grove City that wants to reach out to us, and we'll get you up on the stream or get you associated and affiliated with us, we would love to promote the invitational for Grove City. So I've heard nothing but great things about their invitational. So highly would recommend anyone that gets a chance to check out Grove City. So let's see. Also, if you are in the Philadelphia area, we will be at Fan Expo tomorrow. If you'd like to stop by the Dart Zone booth and say hi, would love to say hi to you. And yeah. So yeah, I'm a little flustered, still recovering. Like I said, I'm packing up for Philly tomorrow. So that explains the profusing sweating going on. But yeah, so I invited a very special guest, a very close friend of mine, on as a guest, ironically, or maybe not ironically, or maybe serendipitously. I'm not sure what the word is. But funny enough, my live streaming started with our guest who we have on tonight. We started doing very small private live streams on his channel back in 2022, I think before End War, or maybe during the pandemic, maybe slightly before. But it was just kind of a once a month kind of thing where we get on, I forget how we did it. I think we got on Discord and then we streamed it through YouTube. And, we essentially were doing what we are doing now here on the Foam Zone. So that was kind of the precursor to what actually evolved and ended up being the Foam Zone here today. So our guest tonight hails from the Richmond, Virginia area and is one of the administrators, club admins for the Richmond Nerf Club. They also host events aimed and specifically for kids on the spectrum. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. And also, they have been well known for their love of polycarb barrel modifications to many Dart Zone blasters and other blasters that you've seen, as well as a Strife mod integration extraordinaire. I would like to introduce my good friend, Danny Pack, aka the Pac-Man, aka tHURsTy4FOAM.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Danny, how are you?
Doing good. I'm still recuperating from Maryland mayhem. I don't have as busy of a schedule for as you do, but got a wife to answer to, and yard work and stuff like that.
That definitely counts for sure. Having real life responsibilities versus what I have for sure. So yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. And like I said, I thought it was kind of funny because this live streaming really kind of started, or at least with me, started with you hosting a live stream on your channel back in the day. I think it might have been, I want to say it was 2022, right before End War, but it might have been before that actually, during the pandemic.
Maybe towards the end. Maybe the end of the pandemic, where we were online all the time chatting, and we're like near the end of pandemic, we're like, hey, let's do some streams online. And you popped up. Jade was on there a couple of times. Some other friends from the online HVZ. It was a good different mix of people. It was just like you said, it was just a private little group of stream on my small channel. So.
Yeah. So if you get a chance to go to tHURsTy4FOAM's YouTube channel, go back to like the earlier streams back in. I'm sure it'll say guest host Dart Sweep or something on it, but definitely go back and check those out. They're kind of long-winded. You can kind of see where the template and the idea for Foam Zone kind of evolved from. If you go back and check out those earlier streams, I think it's pretty funny to see how things evolved over time. But yeah, back in the day,
I'm so happy that you took it to this format too. Like, I'm so happy that we were just messing around, and now kind of was messing around because there was nothing like that out there, and now there is, which I love it that you took it and ran with it and made something out of it. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, I think there's some great there's actually some great showcasing platforms that are out there now that are kind of doing our goal of getting the word out there and spreading community and the hobby news around wherever we can. Bots has a great live stream. Wellcome does his live stream. It sounds a lot of people, and of course, Get Off My Lawn. So, doing these kind of guest hosts in Jangular, of course, when you get the chance, but doing these kind of guest interviews per se, has really kind of, I think, taken off, or has kind of become a little trend here, which is exciting because, everyone gets a chance to kind of share, show and tell, and showcase a little bit about themselves and their area. So, but yeah, like I said, if you get a chance to go check out some of those earlier streams, definitely a trip to see if you get a chance. So before we go into a bunch of things, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, Danny?
Boring life, work in a grocery store, cool hobby life. I've been nerfing for, it's been like a decade now. Can't really remember when it gets to 10-year mark at my age, I guess. Started nerfing, just picked up a Retaliator that was my son's, it jammed, looked up some videos on how to open it, and it pretty much took off from there. So I was there during, I don't want to say early days, but when Coop was still modding, kind of, after that he did. Some of the guys kind of tailed off on modding, and the YouTube kind of took on a different animal for them. But I watched pretty early on. I want to say even Wallcom was modding a lot more. No knock against those guys. Again, sometimes what the hobby needs, things change, as far as what content they're trying to provide. I've been doing this for a while now. I really didn't start the club that I'm in now, but when people move away and you don't want to see something die, you kind of take the reins and go, hey, I've got to make this happen if I want it to happen at all around the area. And the pandemic did not help, because it was probably right before the pandemic when everything kind of was growing, and then the pandemic happened, and then starting over again. That's what it felt like afterwards. But I'm in it for the long haul, it seems like.
Sure. And I forget, how did we actually end up meeting? Obviously, we probably conversed online a little bit, but when did we actually end up meeting? You probably came out to an event or something, or I'm not really quite, I don't remember. It feels like we've known each other for a very long time, so I forget when exactly we met.
because I don't meet as many hobby people as you do, because I'm more small time than you are. But I met you when there was the Fredericksburg Nerf Club that Steven was running. And I
That's right.
think I met you at one of his events at a local park. And then from there, first you asked me to build you a Strife.
Which I still
actually,
have.
you tried to buy the one I was using. I'm pretty sure, and I told you no. But I said I'll build you one. I don't really like doing commissions because time, I don't want to commit to anything, time wise, And and then I wanted to visit your club and the Maryland clubs, and from there, like a handful of times when I can make out the 3-hour drive up there. Southern Maryland's a little closer. It's like an hour and a half, but sometimes scheduling stuff just doesn't match up. And
Right.
Maryland Nerf Herders, it keeps raining. I don't know why. Every event that I've planned to go to up there, which is like 3 years, maybe 3 out of the years where I'm like, oh, I'm free on that day. It rains on that day, and just nothing happens, and I just mod at home.
Yeah, no, the weather gods have been not very fair to the outdoor Maryland clubs for, I want to say, for the past almost 2 years at this point. If it's not raining, it's too windy, or it's snowing. If it's not snowing, it's 110 degrees out. So it's tough to get a win here sometimes in the Maryland area. But
yeah, same here.
But yeah, I remember that's right. We went to at the time it was Fredericksburg Foam Flingers, which was run by Stephen Shelton and I think Matt Ramey, who some people may know as comp players from Team Foam Rain and Dart Royalty, if you're familiar with the comp scene at all. But yeah, they had a little club down in the Fredericksburg, Virginia area, which due to life, of course, as many things and times disbanded. But they recently started to, and both you and I attend these, but they both started, or Stephen Shelton has started hosting events at River City Airsoft down in Richmond, Virginia, which has been an absolutely amazing time, a complete blast. If you haven't played on an indoor airsoft arena, I highly recommend it if you get a chance, especially this one, because the size of this arena and the layout it's a game changer. I wish all events could be played on a field like this, because it's indoors. You can do CQB, you can do long range, and you can run around, and there's a lot of dynamic play that happens in that arena. So yeah, if you get a chance to go down to one of those events that Stephen Shelton hosts at the Airsoft Arena down in Richmond, highly recommend going out to that. I know May 11th there is an event if anyone is interested. So
yep, I'll be there.
But so what is it about the foam flinging hobby community, just in general, that attracts you to it and that has kept you in it? What do you love about it?
To be honest, when I first got into it, I like the modding aspect. I like the aspect that is, it's a toy that's not supposed to hit really hard, and you're doing the opposite of nerfing something, which is, in a video game, if you nerf something, you basically are making the stats worse. But we're doing the opposite to Nerf Blaster. So I just thought it was a cool oxymoron kind of situation where, like, I enjoyed just modding. And then from there, I did it for a while by myself. I was happy by myself doing it. And then I started watching videos where there were clubs. So I started searching for clubs locally. And that's when I did find the Richmond Nerf Club. I did find some dead pages. I really didn't see myself at first really like wanting to go and play. To be honest, as an adult, I thought, hey, it kind of would look silly if I went out there with toy blasters in the public park and we're running around and playing capture the flag and team deathmatch. Right. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do that. I like making them hit really hard where the little kids don't like it. But once you start doing it, I think it's just I don't know. You become addicted to the aspect where there's so many things going on in this hobby. It's not one thing. It's, there's a cosplay aspect, that I appreciate. I don't do,
Mm-hmm.
but when you see it, it's like I don't go to art museums, but I stare at that stuff when I see things that are done right. Steampunk or like to look like a laser rifle from Fallout, or you look at that stuff like that's our works of art, in our hobby. So there's so many different aspects. Basically it started for me just messing with stuff because I'm a tinkerer in general. Before that I was probably playing with Legos and trying to build, just intricate Batmobiles or something.
Sure.
But yeah, the hobby really, I don't know. It evolves a little bit, but there's, if you hit everything, great. But I've been doing it for 10 years and there's still things that I haven't tried or haven't done just because, you'll do certain things that you like for a while. And then, like now I have a 3D printer, so modding now is different than what it used to be when I'm like, hey, anything 3D printed is an expenditure for me where I got to pay money for somebody else to print it. And now just having one, it kind of changes things where I can just go and go, oh, I can have this part in a few hours. So yeah, I guess just everything about the hobby now. It started with just tinkering, and now I appreciate everything, even if I don't specifically do it.
Right. We'll continue. I just want to mention Josh Hankin mentioned that the ABC, the Atlanta Blasted Club, just announced their foam raiser weekend tournament and war event August 10th and 11th. I think they're affiliated with the IDL also down there, so that should be a lot of fun. I'm going to reach out to Josh and see if we can get him on here at some point and get that promoted. So, Josh, if you are checking your DMs, you may see a message from me. Would love to get you on here and get that promoted. And again, also for Grove City too. So, so it really sounds like you were attracted to kind of the potential that was involved, or the potential of modifying blasters and kind of creating something new by combining things or just trying different things out. It really sounds like the modification is kind of what drew you in initially.
It did, but now it's a little different because since, again, I didn't talk about this in the explanation, but like also just the people now that you've met throughout the years, like me and you have only had so many interactions, but I feel like, in this community, we're really close. I feel like,
Absolutely.
Anything you got going on, I support, and like anything I would have going on in this hobby, you would support me. And that's more than I get sometimes from the kids, from the teenagers.
Sure.
Yeah, there's just like a camaraderie just of like, we all are geeking out on this stuff. We all love it. And sometimes we gotta kind of like dogs meeting each other, we sniff each other's butt and kind of feel each other out. But once we know, like, oh no, you're just as geeked out as I am, that it gets just the atmosphere gets really comfortable with everybody. I feel real close anytime I go to Maryland. Again, I ain't seen some of them in 2 years, just because I haven't been up there. And they're like, hey, haven't seen you in a little bit. I'm like, dude, it's been like 2 years. I can't believe you remember. That's how close knit it does feel. So yeah, and even like the people. Well, I know we'll get into Maryland Mayhem, but I'd like to give a shout out because I went and I met people that were not from that area, from my area, and I stayed in a hotel with people from Memphis and from Minneapolis and up from Maine and just different parts. So that was really cool because the relationship transfer from online to in person, and it was cool hanging out with everybody in person.
Absolutely. I mean, we interact with all these people online, Facebook, Discord, and then to actually be able to see them, interact with them in person at a foam flinging event. You just can't beat that. You really just don't get a lot of opportunities. And, I've said it before, but that's really why I enjoy seeing and being a part of these kind of large scale events is to have those opportunities. Special shout out, again, like, CR Nerf. Finally had a chance to meet him at Maryland Mayhem this weekend. But, been interacting online. I've seen posts for years and on YouTube and things like that. Shout out to Chris Harper, who's, been online for a very long time.
One of my roommates. I was rooming with him.
So very cool just to kind of see these people and get a chance to meet people for the first time that you recognize the name. You maybe not necessarily the face, but you recognize the name, and then you get to see them in person and interact. And like I was saying before, it's very serendipitous in a lot of cases. So very cool. But yeah, let's talk about Maryland Mayhem, because I know you weren't able to make it out last year and you were a little bummed. That was kind of our trial test run for it too. So I think this year was kind of the to see where we are at and where it's evolved over a year and what improvements we can make. We could have made. It was very important for us to take the feedback that we got from last year and try to implement as many changes and suggestions that we were provided that we thought were going to help improve the overall experience. I will say that, even though I feel this year went pretty well, there is definitely still ginormous amount of room to still improve. And, we're learning as we go along and continue to try to grow and host these types of events. I can tell you we're already started I'm a little reluctant, but we have already started to plan next year's event. So it takes a lot of work, but yeah, you weren't able to make it last year. You were able to make it this year. Tell us, what did you think?
I thought it was great. Just especially, I got to see competition last year, so that's the only direct comparison. But the competition this year seemed to go a lot smoother. I felt like there was less challenges. I felt like, I don't know if the referees were more on point or more comfortable since they did it last year. But I felt like, they were making calls and they're making the right calls. Everything just really seemed to really run really smoothly. And there were more teams. Everything was more this year, and the competition, especially that day, I don't know what feedback I can really give you on that as far as improvements, but just because it seemed like it ran so smoothly. If you probably hear more of the inner workings of people who are actually on a competitive team, so that's where you would get more feedback. But as somebody who's just looking, as just enjoying, everything seemed like it worked great. I mean, last year I remember there was more stoppages, so I felt like as a spectator, it felt, I don't want to say frustrating, but it just felt like there was those empty moments, kind of like an NFL game and they're doing replays, but I didn't see as much of it. And I know I like the new game mechanic where you touch the flag first for 2 points. I thought that was that might have added to the whole thing as far as making sure gameplay was smooth. Just that both teams are going to initiate in a specific way. There's a goal right away, and there's a time frame on it. As far as HVZ goes, I think there probably could be a lot of tweaks, and that mainly comes from, I don't think you guys were expecting that number of people. I think the adjustment has to be for, it was like 500 people there. There's not too many HVZs that are running those kind of numbers that I know of, at least not on the East Coast. So I can see, I still think it was amazing. I loved being a zombie. I got tagged pretty early on in the experience, but, I love the game mechanics that were involved. I thought UMBC did a great job just moderating each moderator. The moderator I was with, they were with Maryland Film Alliance, one of your staff members. But everything I thought ran really smooth. There were hiccups here and there, but to the game continued to go, and people continue to have fun. And again, those are things I think can be worked out. I think the sheer number of people definitely changed the aspect of how that game was going to run. But I mean, not knowing there was that many people, I think they handled it. To be honest, overall. So people who did not have a great experience, hopefully if they give it another chance, they can have a better experience next year if they give it another chance. Because every time's not the same.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I think you touched on a pretty important point. Well, first of all, just so full transparency, everyone as far as organizing and running the event, we are all volunteers. None of us get paid. We're all volunteering our time and effort to put this thing together. And that's why I make it a point to do my best to make sure that everyone thanks the organizers.
They're not getting
and all
paid
the
a bunch of money to run games.
Absolutely. So also, again, like you said, I think it's kind of hard to plan for that certain amount of people and capacity until you've actually done it once. So, now having an idea of what, 300, 500 people event looks like, then you can kind of start adjusting and planning for the future. But again, second event this year, much larger attendance. I thought the UMBC mod team did an extraordinary job with the circumstances. Made sure there were all these safety holds that were necessary, even if it meant stopping gameplay. I think people appreciate the fact that the team goes out of their way to make sure everyone is safe. The whole goal is to receive feedback, take that feedback, try to implement it, and improve. And between the Maryland Foam Alliance team and the UMBC team, if we can improve slightly, just a bit, the next year, that the goal is accomplished. So that's really the goal, is just to try to improve a little bit better from the year previous. And I hope we did that this year. And of course, we'll take what we learned from this year and try to implement it into next year going ahead. And I will say there are some things that may be changing and that are being discussed and planned. So definitely keep an eye out for that. But another new thing that was new was we had our first official BlasterCon coinciding with 11th Hour Blaster Battle. For those that don't know, the 11th Hour Blaster Battle is a casual PvP Blaster Battle that we host on the Sunday of the Maryland Mayhem weekend, just as a way to unwind and just have some fun flinging some foam against each other on a casual PvP field. Last year, we did it outdoors at the Maryland Earth Field, which was 200 by 200. We had like 150 people on the field at the same time at one point. It was pure mayhem. This year, to guarantee we didn't have to battle with weather, we moved it indoors. So we would have BlasterCon on one field, on a large indoor soccer field, and then on the other side, we had the cover set up to have the inflatables and PVC cover set up to have a PvP battle. So you could decide if you wanted to hang out and check out the BlasterCon section, or if you wanted to jump in and play a little bit, you could do that. And we had a staging area where we would brief a group. They would go play. While that group was playing, another group would be briefed in, waiting for their turn, and then just kind of rotate in and out. And then by the end of the day, we just kind of mixed all groups in together and just had big old blaster battle. Titan Ball ran for like 20 minutes, I want to say, before Brett was able to score a Titan Rocket score, as usual, because Brett is the one that always scores the Titan Rocket at Maryland Mayhem. But yeah, what did you think about BlasterCon, the vendors there, and and 11th Hour Blaster Battle?
I thought that was just great. I've always seen videos of NWAR, and my favorite thing to see on the YouTube videos was just people going to all the tables at the BlasterCon, and I'm like, man, everybody's there. You know, like Silver Fox is there, or like people from Singapore are there, and it's just like, wow, you know, Gavin Fuzzy's there, Roboman's there. It's like all these iconic names. Captain Xavier's there. You know, everybody's got a table. The maker of the Moose is there. Foamdemic was there. Everybody, you know, it was really awesome to see. And I know y'all took feedback from last year that like on not everybody always comes in on Friday. Some people still have to work,
Right.
and the numbers on Saturday and Sunday are usually much larger, you know, as far as attendance. And then it
Right.
gives also people who are competing, you know, a lot of times they don't really have a chance to go see vendors, and that gives them a day to, you know, relax and play some when they want to. And then, like you said, go and check out the vendors or talk to their friends that are there that they don't see in person. And it was everything I wanted it to be, pretty much. I mean, I did play that game of Titan Ball, and like, oh my gosh, when they said switch sides, I almost walked off the field, because, you know, remember that was my first HVZ, and I was a zombie for like 7 hours, you know, 7 or 8 hours, because I got tagged pretty early on. I took a pretty long lunch break. I might have missed some hoarding out there, but yeah, 7-8 hours as a zombie, you know, 30-second respawns. Sometimes you're like, I don't want to respawn, I need a minute. But it was pretty. Oh, you know what I didn't mention? I did get Coney Dog, so I did get somebody with a name tag that Boom had printed out.
Respect.
So he gave me that, and it got.
That's a high value target.
Yeah.
Very
I have its
cool.
blaster? He gave me a zombie strike blaster. I don't know where I put it. I said I was going to bring it for the stream, but it's just one of the newer bolt action standard Nerf zombie strike.
Yeah.
But he had it on his back. He's like, you get this and name tag. And then I didn't remember, you know, I wasn't conscious to get his autograph there. You know, not that I'm a big autograph guy, but I thought it was cool if I got his tag. You know, he's somebody
Right.
that I've watched on YouTube. I'm going to get his autograph. You know, since you had the BlasterCon, you know, I had a day where I could mill around, and he was there milling around. And that's when I was like, hey, another weird thing about the HVZ. I am going to talk about the BlasterCon more, but he was throwing foam ice cream sandwiches. And so I had found one, and somebody told me that Dr. Flux was throwing them. So I was like, oh, I'm going to get it, and I'm going to go and get Dr. Flux. You know, I'm going to get his autograph on this ice cream foam sandwich. And then I saw Coney Dog first, and then I was like, hey, was somebody throwing ice cream sandwiches in your group? And he said, I was, and I had 2 of them, but I lost one. And then I saw kind of a sad look in his eyes when he said he lost one. So I was like, I got to just give it back to him. I was like, I found it. So no autograph on the ice cream sandwiches. Had to give it back.
Well, I mean, what I thought, really what was special for me is, I don't know if there's been an event or anything like this before. I'm sure there was at some point, but really what excited me was getting all these people that you've seen on YouTube and Facebook and Discord all together. So, you know, we had Al the Geek, Maritime Foam, Xavier, Not Enough Nerf, Foam Mando, Luke Perry, Jade Foamdemic, Derek, Frontline Foam, even Saber made an appearance. I don't know if I count them as a social media kind of thing,
don't leave out your local guys.
Pac-Man, yep, there you go.
Cobalt.
Cobalt Designs, that's right.
Yeah,
Kobe
I
was
love
there.
Cobalt's table.
Yeah, so but like I don't, and Silver Fox and Containment Crew, I just don't know another event where we've had all these people, vendors, social media people, kind of all in one place. So for me, that was really exciting, just to be able to, and Dr. Flux, of course, it was amazing to slay some zombies with Dr. Flux. But that's really, again, testament to why I kind of like these large scale events, just whenever they're available, is just being able to get everyone together. in the same space. And that was really exciting, I think, this year for Maryland Mayhem. So I'm hoping we can get the same turnout again next year. Would be exciting to even have more that weren't able to make it out this year. But so let's transition a little bit into talking about the local Nerf club, Richmond Nerf Club. Tell us a little bit about that, just so people can learn about that if they're in the area interested in attending. How did it get started? Where is it located? Age group, FPS cap, game types, anything that we should know about it?
So it's a small group. It's a group that got started before me. That's when Nerf kind of was coming up as far as even people like 100 FPS was like crazy back then. So and that admin had moved away, and so basically when I took it over, we do PVC covers. We go to public park. We talk to the county and make sure we set up a day. We usually try to call the police and let them know just locally what we're doing. Age range, to be honest, since we're a small club and some of the parks that we play at, we do get walk-ups, It'll be crazy. Sometimes I've seen people just walk by with Nerf blasters because they're just walking around and they live near the park. There's a lot of housing around that area.
That's awesome.
Where they can walk to the park.
Right.
So sometimes we just get walk-ups, and I've got a good amount of loaners. Normally we play 150 FPS, 160. We want to have more games, but the attraction right now, I get a lot of people that are younger. And again, as far as the age, I think we asked for, I can't even remember, to be honest. I can't remember if 8 or 10 years old, what the age limit is, but we've had people out there that are younger, but we let them know, it's all parental supervision. They all sign a waiver. And, the parents can't leave us with their child, so as far as we're concerned, they're still under parental supervision of what that child's able to handle, pain threshold. We got eye protection. We're making sure we're not hurting people. We use safe darts. So, but most of it's just trying to get some growth. I'm always looking for more just cover and admin help. I've been moving to more pop-up tents and stuff like that. And then, of course, on the side where a lot of it is actually just me. I do look for more volunteer help, but we do some volunteering with the Autism Society here locally. So we run some events with teens with autism during like some of their summer camps, and I'd like to do more. Some of it's like life event stuff, but yeah, that's the general gist of just Richmond Nerf Club, just a small club trying to make it not the big Maryland Alliance powerhouse, but we're doing it.
I don't know if we're a powerhouse.
Oh no, you guys are. I love going up there. I wish I had more time to even visit you guys.
Do you guys have admission price, or is it free event?
No.
Or how does it work?
Yeah, free event. Me and my buddy Joseph, and honestly, the other admin has kind of disappeared on housework. He bought a house and we never heard from him ever again. Well, one of those situations. Yeah, life
for sure.
And his wife has got him doing, I don't know. He's a carpenter now. I don't know. We don't know. But yeah, me and him, we supply darts again, even blasters. Blasters I have looking over there, a couple of Nexuses, 2 or 3 Dictators, a Striker. Every once in a while, somebody accidentally picks up a 2.1 that hits a little too hard.
What is the FPS cap there?
Like 150, 160. We're kind of lenient. Okay. I mean, most of the people, to be honest, there's a handful of people that we'll see with like a Worker Swift or something like that, and they're trying to down tune it, to play. But, we see them adamantly trying to chrono and trying to get it to the speed we're supposed to play at, so that we don't really have too many worries on that. But yeah, a lot of the players that come in, some of them, it's the first time that they've seen that FPS cap anyway. So it's kind of like 10 years ago for us, well, we're like 150 FPS. That's crazy. That's crazy numbers to them when they see it, when they're walking around with a stock Nerf blaster. And like the park walkthrough people, they'll put theirs down and they'll pick up like a Striker or a Nexus. And I'm like, there's some magazines over there. Those are short darts. You're going to want to use those. And it's, they keep asking me when the next event is. Sometimes my heart sinks a little bit when I go, we're taking a little break, winter time's a little busy for family life, and or looking for indoor events. We've looked a little bit, but really haven't found anything that we found in matches was what we got going on yet. But still looking though when we got time.
Right. And what kind of game type? I'm assuming you run general game types.
Yeah, general game types. We do try. They do. A lot of people like playing the flag push style. A lot of that is new to them. We don't keep scoring points per, like pro level, but the general gist of who wins and trying to get the flag push or the whole team's eliminated is there. Or we play just general, pistol round, sometimes a warm up, team deathmatch, or just we do have like time stops clocks. We haven't done it too many times where we've tried to play domination or King of the Hill, like a variation of taking over an area and keeping control. But yeah, those don't always work out. I got to build some of those buckets you got. Those things are cool. But yeah, just like you said, general game types. Capture the flag, sometimes single CTF. I like single CTF sometimes too.
Sure, absolutely. Bots is doing my job. I should have been doing this all along. But yes, if you're watching, please give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. And if you have not done so already, please register yourself and your club or whatever at our worldfoamalliance.org website. And we'll start flinging foam together and connecting everyone together soon. So let's see. Let's bring up the call number. If anyone wants to call in and talk to Danny, they can call in. We'll also open this up to a trivia question. I think it's now appropriate. Did you ever, what did you end up getting at BlasterCon? Meant to ask you this.
Oh, at BlasterCon, it's so funny. Like there's like all those creators there, and I'm so frugal, Andrew. Money's tight. And wife sees all the credit card bills. She knows exactly what I spend on everything. But I was staring at. I never had a Dart Zone 2.1. The MK 2.1, so the pistol. So yeah, I had to, and then Derek was like, they're on sale, and I'm like, well, I might as well get one. I really wanted to get one. They're a solid blaster. I want to run it as like a light primary, just a bunch of mags and just that, and be lightweight and running around while I still can run anyways. But yeah, that's what I picked up. And then of course we were on the hunt for the new Nexus Pro and Aeon Pros. We went to some Walmarts around there and yeah, nothing. While we were there.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, the 2.1 is a solid blaster. I like the fact that the new DZ scars actually fit and work extremely well in them. They shoot lasers with the 2.1. Actually, they shoot lasers in anything that you put it in. So highly recommend it. I meant to do this at the beginning of the show, but I want to thank KT and Bile Mods for hooking me up with the Foam News Collective t-shirt they brought me for Maryland Mayhem. It was the last one in size extra large I think they had. So I appreciate them hooking me up. I also want to thank Gavin Fuzzy for hooking me up with a B car, which I am rocking currently on my my Seagull and inverted scales. It is amazing on both of those. So highly recommend the Gavin Fuzzy B car if you get a chance to pick one up. Definitely worth it.
I'm kicking myself. I kind of wanted to get one.
So let's see. Let's open up the trivia question. First caller to call in with the correct answer will be declared the winner. I don't know if you mentioned it. I thought you mentioned it at the beginning of the stream, so that might be a hint. But the question is going to be, what was the first blaster Danny, aka Pac-Man, aka Thirsty4Foam, our special guest this evening? What was the first blaster that Danny modded that got him into the hobby? You mentioned that earlier, I believe. Don't say what it is. Obviously.
Yeah. It was the first one I opened up and started watching videos.
So we'll flash that phone number up on the screen. If you have an answer, go ahead and call in. We'll wait a few minutes to see if we have any call-ins. But we're going to add the number in momentarily. Once it goes on, feel free to call in. Let's just look at the chat and see if we missed anything. Oh, Papatachi showed up, was at Maryland Mayhem, so that was great to see him there. I think he was running with the with your crew, with the Foam Demic crew. You guys had a pretty big crew there. It was you, Jay, Chris Harper, and and Moose. It was, you guys had a big
Moose.
There's
some people there you might not know. I have to give a shout out. It was my buddies Tom, Will, David, Craig. You mentioned Papatachi and Chris earlier, but yeah. I think in the same hotel. I think Roboman and Orion, Dan Orion, I think they were in the same hotel too.
That was so cool. There too. Both Roboman and Orion Blasters was there. And Roboman had some really cool stuff there, and I'm guessing did pretty well there because the booth looked like it was packed pretty much the entire time I was standing there. I'm trying to think of some other booths that might have not gotten full attention. Oh, Xbox Games was there.
Xbox, yeah, I forgot.
Lexi Sketches from UMBC, I think, was doing stickers. They do a lot of anime style artwork, and a lot of the artwork for the UMBC slides that end up for the informational post that we post leading up to the event. Who else was there? Survival Fest obviously had a booth there, so that was good. They were running their video spots. Any callers? All right. I think we're waiting for the phone number. All right. The phone lines are now open. So if you had a chance to scrim through the video, you may have gotten your answer. But if you know the answer to what was the first blaster Danny modded that got him into the hobby, feel free to call in and give us an answer, and you will win a Dart Zone solo. And I am so sorry, I do have to mention I am again late on sending them out. I just got my my package of solos in, and just with Maryland Mayhem and everything, I have not had a chance to set it out. Specifically, Sam, I know you have been patiently waiting for your Dart Zone solo, and I will send that out once I get back from Philadelphia next week. And we have a caller, so let's bring on our caller for the trivia question, or maybe they just want to say hi. We'll find out in a second. Hello, caller. Who do we have?
Hello. General Strife.
Hello. General Strife. General, how are you?
Good, you guys?
What's up, General Strife?
We missed you at Maryland Mayhem. You were being talked about, but we felt you there in spirit. We'll get you out to Maryland Mayhem hopefully next year.
I hope. I mean, it's closer than N-War, so hopefully I can make
closer to N-War. Well, if you can make it to N-War or any of the events, we'd love to see you there. So But yes, I'm assuming you were calling in because you have a answer.
No, I've already won a
Oh, no.
giveaway, so I don't think.
Oh, okay. You're just calling in just to say hi.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That works too.
Yeah, I love he's General Stripes always tuning in every week.
So what you got going on, General? Anything specifically?
I've been finding a lot of leaks, news, stuff like that about like Busby, N series, stuff like that.
Anything specifically you would like to share and discuss with our guests this evening that you think Danny might be interested in?
There's been a leaked it was in a panel, a Hasbro panel. It was like an art piece, and it looked like a double magged single barrel blaster of some sorts. And that's what some people are thinking that is the Infinite.
Interesting. And that's I'm assuming that's full length, just regular standard full length.
It's hard to tell based on the photo.
Yeah. And do you think it's going to be part of a new line, or are they sticking with Elite 2.0, or what can you tell based off of the leak?
It's going to be a new line based off the aesthetic of the photo. I'm guessing.
Very cool. Well, if you've had a chance to see the photo leak that General Strife is talking about, and you have any speculation of what it could be, go ahead and drop that down in the live chat. I'm very curious. Definitely looking, I'm a little optimistic with Hasbro, since they're releasing some of the new rival blasters that I was not expecting to come out, along with some of their new reshells. So if you have any ideas of what might be coming out, we'd love to hear what you think. Also, if you have an answer to our trivia question, feel free to call in and give us an answer. Otherwise, I will give the prize to Yoda. Yeah, let's give a hint to our audience. Yeah. General Strife, appreciate you calling in. As always, we'll go ahead and have the trivia question up. Phone number should be appearing. If you have an answer to the question, feel free to call in. Danny, give us a hint. What is this blaster? Give us a hint. Someone.
A useless one would be what color it was. See. I could tell you what type of prime it was. It's a top prime blaster.
Top prime blaster, and what year would you say?
Oh man, they've run this blaster a bunch of years. I can't remember. I mean, it came out when the original Blue Elite N-Strike series came out, I believe, and they made like a white variant. There's probably 2 different Blue N-Strike variants actually. That's a bunch of hints now.
All right. Well, you have the hints. If you know the answer, call in and get your chance to win a Dart Zone Pro Solo. But while we wait, let's.
By the way, too.
Oh, they are amazing. I was demoing how far you can actually fire those things, because if you throw it, I mean, you're getting close to easily like 150, 200 feet. So it's a very impressive blaster in a small form factor.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun blasters.
We have another caller, so let's bring on the caller. Hello, caller.
I'm going to say either a Retaliator or an Alpha Trooper.
He got it. It was a Retaliator.
A Retaliator is the correct answer. You did it. It is your birthday.
No, it's not. Sadly, not for a couple more months.
What? Who do we have? Who do we have? Who's the caller?
Alan.
Alan, what's up, buddy?
What's up?
How are you?
What's up, man?
I'm doing
okay.
I got to get my hand on the gin.
Come to Survival Fest. I'm selling some at the Talon Axe Armory booth. You want the kit or you want a full build?
I want a full build. You got a band blaster going on in that sucker anytime soon or anything like that that'll get it up to 200?
It will take a band blaster kit if you want one, because it will take any fly core. But I basically am just selling the brushless versions.
I
That's
want
about
that
150,
brushless
160.
version. Yeah, I mean, I'll
Yep.
be honest. I'd be happy with that. It is an amazing looking blaster. I've been following it since Talon X Armory has been showing it off, and I think I got a chance to take a look at it at Maryland Mayhem. I think the Survival Fest guys had it at their table, so I was able to get a very quick glance at it.
Mike and Luke had
but,
their own personal one from the beta.
Right. I was very envious of them actually having it. So I definitely will be picking it up one. I'm going to message you because that's definitely something I need in my life. So.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Whenever you're ready for it, bro. Like I said, I'll have several of them with me at Survival Fest. Full builds for 300 and the kits for 160 for the brother.
Awesome. You heard it here. 300 for the build and 160 for the kit. So at Survival Fest. So definitely stop by DT's booth when you get a chance if you're at Survival Fest. So appreciate you, Alan.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Well, congratulations.
Building a SPF. I saw a lot of SPFs walking around.
There's a lot of good stuff going around these days between the gin, SPFs, momentums, and spirits, and it's we live in a great time. We are very spoiled. So it sounds like we have a caller. So we'll bring in the next caller. Maybe. Call me maybe.
Call me maybe Andrew. It's Chris.
Hey, what's up,
Chris? How are ya?
What's up? I'm doing good. I figured I'm glad somebody got Danny's mod. I figured I gave him enough time before I answered.
Yeah, I know.
I figured you were watching.
We normally kind of hide the answer at the beginning of the show, and then we'll ask the question, and then everyone scrambles to do the playback to find the question. But yeah, so
I've been chatting with Danny for so long that was a no-brainer.
Right. But you actually, we were just talking about you. You actually made it out to Maryland Mayhem, and this was your first large-scale event. What did you think?
I had an absolute blast. You guys and everybody who put this on were just completely amazing. I can't wait to make it back next year.
Yeah. What did you really enjoy about it?
11th hour was way more fun than I thought it was going to be. But the HVZ, just because I've never done anything like that on that scale, that was a lot of fun.
That's great. Yeah, we really try to make the HVZ kind of the main event and kind of wrap everything around that to complement it. But so that's why it's super important that the feedback for the HVZ is provided, because that's something that we definitely want to focus on. The MDFA, Maryland Foam Alliance, is not directly involved with the planning of the game mechanics or how the game is run. We are there for the logistical support for check-ins and chronographing and things like that. But we still take any feedback that we get throughout the entire weekend and share that, between the MDFA and the UMBC team admins. So again, any feedback, positive, negative, constructive, suggestive, any feedback that is available, I highly recommend just send our way. It's the only way that we can improve every year.
The amount of people and what you guys had going on for those 3 days, I thought ran just amazingly smooth.
Yeah. And again, I want to make this clear that, we work off of this template, and we owe a lot of thanks and gratitude to other events that have come before us, like End War, RAG, Zombies, East vs. West, and the Boiler Dome, all these other events that have happened before Maryland Mayhem. We didn't create the template by any means. It's no secret that there's a lot of influence coming from a lot of places. So, and again, just trying to work off of what others have done and just trying to improve a little bit as we go along and continue to grow as a hobby. So, but I was a pleasure to meet you because I've seen you online and, I see your posts and you're always sharing. So it was great to actually get a chance to meet you in person. So I hope you had a fun time.
I had an amazing time, and it was great to meet everybody that I met. I wish I could have met more people, but you only got so much time when you're trying to fling foam too.
That's right. Awesome. Well, appreciate you calling in, Chris, and we will see you soon, hopefully at the next large scale event.
Oh, I'm gonna talk to him
I'm hoping
soon.
so too.
All right, man. Have a good one. Be good.
All
Be
right,
safe.
later.
All right.
I'll probably talk to him after this.
So if we don't have a caller, we do have one more call. Okay, let's go ahead. Caller. Got some calls in tonight. Hello, caller.
Andrew, what's going on? It's your one and only, the Kyle, or Mr.
Kyle.
Mr. Kyle Chilling.
Chilling. Hello, how are you?
Chilling. What's going on with everybody in the crew? I wanted to give a shout out to everybody else in the chat as well too, joining in with this show. What's going on with both of y'all?
Not much. We are just kind of recapping Maryland Mayhem weekend and getting to know a little bit more about tHURsTy4FOAM, aka Danny Pack, aka the Pac-Man. But
hey,
you,
Danny, how's
made
it going?
Yeah. So in case our viewers don't know, Kyle, who's on the line, was the representative for Saber at Maryland Mayhem. How did that go?
Oh, that's right. I remember you now.
Oh yeah. So I did a good amount of sales during Sunday. And I tried to represent well during the tournament. During Friday, I was firing actually throughout the whole entire time my M20 X Genesis and my Apex Prime. I sold a couple of Apex Primes on Sunday and gave away one. Also did some swap meets with some other shops as well to trade for blaster or blaster parts. It turned out really well. I'm really glad for Maryland Mayhem. And it was the first time I ever was a sponsor for Maryland. And I've also started to sponsor a HBZ Survival Fest and plan on sponsoring more other events as well.
Nice. So it sounds like you had a good time and you were able to compete. You were playing with the Rascals, I believe.
Absolutely. And while we had a really low result, I will say we're not last. Nobody's really last. I mean, sure, you can look at the results, but we had a good time. We tried to make a comeback at the third match, and man, we tried to kick butt during that time. I think one of the disappointing factors, probably due to circumstances, not getting enough practice with each other. Not trying to call out anybody else specifically, but I think that was just one of the downfalls that we had. But I'm hoping that we can get back together, get a little bit of tactics in, get a little bit of runs and practice in, or make up a new team, whatever the case may be.
For sure. No, I know that Rascals competed last year, and then you guys competed again this year. You weren't on last year's team, but I think you guys performed better this year than you did last year. And again, that's always the goal, is just to try to improve a little bit better than you did previously. So in my book, mission accomplished. And, at the end of the day, as long as you're out there having fun, competing with your friends, winning is great. It's nice to win and place, but in my opinion, that's just extra. But really, what really counts is,
Which,
just going out there, having fun and competing with your friends. So,
which brings up a good point. It's like that we're not like going to these events that we always need to be gung ho serious with everybody else. Some people's play styles can be really relaxed, really chill out, and just want to have a social hour. Some people just want to be really competitive in the zone right then and there, not to the point where you mill sim or anything else. And I like to develop that like middle ground. Like, hey, if you need me on the front lines, let's go. If you just want to shoot the breeze and you want to talk shop, hey, let's go ahead and do that.
absolutely. Well, appreciate you calling in, and I'm glad to hear that you had a fun time at Maryland Mayhem. Appreciate your support and appreciate you being a vendor. I think people should look forward and definitely stop by your booth at Survival Fest at the end of the month. So looking forward to seeing you there. And of course, Kyle is one of our local players. So if you're in the Maryland area, I'm sure you'll see Kyle sooner than later. So appreciate you calling in.
Oh, yep. And definitely message me anytime on Discord as well, too, if you want to shoot the breeze or you want to buy anything Saber. It's Chill Kyle, all in one word, ChillKyle.
Awesome. All right. So the main reason is, and I know I say this all the time, I'm behind schedule, but really what I wanted to bring Danny on here today, some of you may or may not know this, but Danny is a parent of a child who's on the spectrum, is heavily involved with doing events and dealing with kids and parents and players, just people in general that may be on the spectrum and have to deal with that. Running events, playing with players that are on the spectrum. Just wanted to talk a little bit about that and that dynamic because it is so personal to you. And it's definitely a thing and something to consider because I know for DMV Nerfers, discussion was just brought up in the Discord about how to make people on the spectrum even more inclusive. We pride ourselves on being inclusive and trying to, make games wheelchair accessible and, try to change game mechanics to help out people in those kind of situations just to try to put everyone on an inclusive, even playing field. But it's a challenge to do that, and sometimes you can't do that. But you obviously, having firsthand experience, may be able to touch upon that and just talk a little bit about how you deal with that, some ideas and approaches when you have players, kids, parents, that have to deal with being on the spectrum. How do you handle foam flinging in that?
Yeah. So as far as for my son, he's fairly high functioning. So if you talk to him, you wouldn't know that he was on the spectrum.
Right.
You would definitely notice that he has ADHD. But as far as being on the spectrum, you might not really notice it until you like really start watching just him socially. It can be a little bit different. But as far as getting involved for me, my wife's actually a sped teacher in a local county here. So I think with her going to autism events like 5K runs and stuff like that, I got to meet the director of the local autism society here in Richmond. So and my wife was thinking, hey, you run a Nerf club. There's kids that they have that the kids that are able-bodied, they have a wide range like at the summer camp. So it's a wide range, but the people that are able-bodied, I was able to say, hey, I can come and run an event. I'll provide covers. They had like a gymnasium. I'll have blasters, which is funny because I was trying to get rid of all my stock blasters, but since I committed to doing these events, I had to keep a good amount of stock blasters. So we're not playing with modified blasters. The age range, I want to say, of these camps are like young teen to a little older teen. So it could be like 12 to 16 years old.
Right.
Most of them are in that range. And as far as, where they are on the spectrum, it's a good range of people. Where some of them, it's funny because like I'm getting a less of a snapshot, and I'm trying to learn names really quickly. So let's say somebody's name is Olivia, and I met her, and you're explaining things. I explain things just like I would to any normal person, and because for them to participate, they're going to have to grasp it, and just they're capable of more than sometimes I think people will give credit when you go into this. But some people are more apprehensive. I guess since I've been around it, was my wife being a teacher. She doesn't care what handicap you have. They're just going to set a goal and push. So same thing. I go in with the Nerf blasters and I try to show them how to load it, and it can be frustrating, especially certain mechanics like magazines and stuff like that. But what I was hinting at before, like at the beginning, the girl I was interacting with, I thought she was nonverbal in the beginning of the day, and by the end of the day, she said, "This was so much fun," just out of nowhere. And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, you talk!" Like I did not know that, she did not say a word the whole time, and I played with it an entire day. She was just picking up different blasters, and she ended up with a bow strike, the one where it's like a jolt, and when you prime it, the little bow arms flip out, and when you fire them, I think they close again. But she just loved the little mechanic, and everybody gets basically. I have volunteers there, so I don't have to have a staff. So it's just me bringing all my junk basically, and they have volunteers and staff. Like I set up the field, but as far as the volunteers, I kind of have to coach them on how to use blasters if they haven't used one before. And the volunteers play too. So there's like high school volunteers there, older volunteers, or people who work with at the Autism Society, and they're out there. The director is out there playing, and all the videos that I have on my Instagram and stuff of the kids playing at the camps. He's out there playing almost the entire time. He's sweating more than anybody. He's like super into it. So it's a good time. If anybody ever wanted to start with something like that, I would, figure out, try to get in contact somebody who does events that are already nonprofit, and they already have basically the population. They have the population already, and for me also, just volunteering, I think it gives you some kind of feeling of makes you feel good. It should give you an importance. You should feel good about it. So part of it I do. I don't know if that's selfish, but I do. I feel good when I go out and do that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, if anybody ever wants to, I would get. I was talking to somebody who dealt with people with Down syndrome, the Down Syndrome Society. They got in contact with me, and I just did not have enough time to fit them in. But they had like young adults or adults that were, they coach and get acclimated and did certain events, just nonprofit volunteering wise. They wanted to see if I could host an event for them. So I haven't done that yet, but that might be in the works as well. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to have them just involved in the same things, like you said, as everybody else. And like some of them, like you said, some people that are like my son, like I say, on the spectrum, he's high functioning. He can go out and play 250 FPS games. He's fine.
Right.
It's just now Daddy's been doing it for 10 years, and he's actually bored of it. He just wants to play video games. He doesn't want to load magazines. He's seen it for a decade, and he goes, "You're still doing this?" I'm like, "Yeah, with or without you, I'm still doing this. I mean, I'm here for you too, but this is me. This is part of me. I love doing it." So,
what they say, the prodigal son will return, is what they say. I feel like sometimes. So
yeah, I'm trying to get him to go to that airsoft arena.
Oh, he would love it.
Him.
At least just for a round.
Helldivers. He's playing Helldivers nonstop.
Everyone's playing Helldivers, so not alone. So what would you say, if any, are there any challenges that you have to consider, or something's easier? Are you having to adjust like rule types to simplify them? I know you mentioned, I was going to ask, are there recommended blasters that you would recommend over certain other types? Obviously, Liam, like you said, is pretty much fully functioning, so he's able to handle, modded blasters and everything like that. But are there any challenges or thought process that you have to take into consideration when thinking about doing stuff like this? Because I know I'm sorry, I was just going to say, I know for Maryland Foam Alliance, we were talking about, well, if we have a wheelchair, someone was talking about showing up with a wheelchair, and we were thinking about how we could, help cater that into gameplay. And we're coming up with ideas where we're like, well, if you get tagged on the wheelchair, that doesn't count as a hit. Things like that. Are there things like that you have to consider?
So, yeah, I mean, like we were saying, like it's a wide range as far as abilities can go. So you kind of include them as, we'll have a child with autism that he's not going to register hits. He's just running around, having a ball, and you're running a game, and, he's just, he's the berserker on the field. Don't get hit by the berserker. That's a tag too, and you can't tag him out. I just make up rules on the fly, just a piece, because there is going to be another child that is going to be high strung, and he's definitely verbal. And he goes, hey, he got hit. He's not taking his tag, and just gets really emotional about it. So you are going to run into the social aspect of it. And we are dealing with, people that are still, not only are they children, but they're children with autism. And it's a different type of ability they have, and it's a different range when you're working with a group like that to appease everybody. So you just do the best you can. There's going to be outbursts, but again, like when I say try to contact an organization that is already involved, because they're going to have, first of all, insurance liability, and then second of all, they're going to have like the support staff that like they're going to step in, and like when a child has an outburst and it has to be taken out of the room, you may not see that child for the rest of the afternoon. He may just go and play with Legos, or go do something else, or play Connect 4. He'll just go do anything else. He may come back later. Some of them, you'll see a kid in there that seems gung-ho, and you think he's going to play the whole 3 hours or 2 hours or however long I'm doing it, and then he'll play for 30 minutes and be bored and be playing a video game on his phone, eating pizza or something. So you kind of have to adjust just to whatever's going on. And outbursts, again, in that, I mean, we have outbursts with general public people, We've seen it with the adults, but at least with the children, there's going to be like, if you're involved with an organization, they're going to have staff there to take care of it. And you just got to take it as a grain of salt. I do like it that I am able to downsize a little when I have these events. So when I go and do these events, all the children, whatever their favorite blaster was that they were using, even if it like pains me, the last event I had last year, I had those Rebel flip out purses, the ones some people use for like medic games and stuff.
Yep, there are medic blasters.
Yeah, and I don't have a lot of them. I think I only had 2, and he picked one up. He was like, "Oh, I want this one so bad," and I was like, "Oh, dude, I do not want to give that to you, but I'm gonna give it to you. I might have to find another one, I guess." But and then I usually have something where we try to designate something where it's like a special blaster. Like I think, what was it this past year? 2 years ago was like that dinosaur strife, that T-Rex strife thing from Nerf.
Are you sure it wasn't the Dark
It's like
Zone
a dinosaur,
one?
but it's a strife. No, it was a flywheeler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I remember what you're talking
I can't remember what I gave away last one. I'm sure it was something that caught the eye. It's got to be something that catches the eye. I honestly, that blaster that Coney Dog gave me, I might use that. But basically, we tell them like the best behaved camper or the more most supportive, well-behaved camper gets to win the prize. So it kind of gives them incentive to behave well too during that competitive, some of them feel that's a competitive atmosphere. Maybe the first one they've really seen, and they're like, you'll see it. Some of them have become a little bit of adrenaline junkie. They're like, when's the next event? Are you coming back? Like the summer camp, I normally hold 2, so they know I'm coming back. I was like, yes, I'm coming back in a week. So make sure you're here. So it's really cool to see the enthusiasm too.
Well, that's terrific. I highly encourage and recommend anyone that is interested in, trying to put something together, an event like this, or just needs any kind of information regarding this, hit up Danny. Danny's a great resource. Good guy, knows what he's talking about, has a lot of experience, and hopefully we get to have more opportunities. I'm sure you're not the only one, but, it'd be nice to hear about other events like this happening throughout the world in general. So well done, sir. So the time is now 25. I did want to talk about this. We'll talk about it briefly, just again, because we got to get ready to head out of town tomorrow. But you, my friend, and I, at one point, not so much these days, but you are, and I is what I would consider and called an FPS chaser.
A little bit.
Trying to maximize the potential of performance out of blasters. A lot of them have lately been Dart Zone. I've seen from you. But yeah, I see you, and I always see you chasing FPS, trying to squeeze out performance from blasters. And one thing I think that separates you from a lot of others is your admiration and use of polycarb barrels, which now apparently you are switching away from. But yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about, chasing that FPS numbers, what you do to get that, and some of the new blasters that have come out. You've posted the NPX, the Nexus Pro X, and the Aeon Pro X, which are fantastic blasters.
They're
out
great.
of the box already.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I think the challenge is, trying to modify them further than what they've already are set up to be modified, because you can get the extra springs and spacers that Dart Zone sells on top of it. So I'm not quite sure what more modability you can get out of those two, but you've maxed out performance for the Dictator, Tomcats, Conquest Pro, and Strikers, and Nexus. All these blasters. Talk a little bit about why you look to chase the FPS, maximize the performance, what the whole appeal is. Just talk a little bit about your overall approach to trying to get the highest FPS out of blasters.
I like to just tinkering. I always think, some of it's for clout. I always think somebody's going to hit higher numbers, and they always do. But just being able to tinker with different things, and just like, some of it's like kind of fun putting your mind to work a little bit, just cutting different barrel lengths and just working with different springs and propulsions to see what does maximize everything. When you were talking about polycarb barrels, the polycarb barrels I did like. I am noticing, just like I always knew there was a lot of friction on polycarb barrels, but the inner diameter is pretty tight on a Dart. So when you got the right propulsion, spring power and air power behind it, it usually results pretty good, even on like used darts, just because it's such a tight ID. But I've noticed, I told you I switched to aluminum, and I honestly I've been tinkering with this. So I've been tinkering with the Nexus Pro X,
which is a toy blaster algorithm.
It is a toy blaster. I mean, it's pink and
algorithm.
purple, and it has orange. But basically, I did try polycarb on this, so I was trying different lengths. I made some spacers. I had a friend actually send me some spacers too. I made some out of brass, but then my friend sent me some to print out as well. But I'm so impressed with just like, right now I have a 15-inch barrel on this thing. It comes with like an 8-inch barrel, first of all. and it's still hitting 200 FPS on the stock spring. So it just shows you what the propulsion just was, what they have with the turnaround and the air delivery, that like it can support a pretty long barrel. So like I'm excited. I honestly just ordered I don't know if you guys know, but the upgrade springs, the lower power one and the higher power one, they're live on the Dart Zone site right now. Right before this stream, I actually ordered them for this and for the Aeon Pro X. And with the spacers, I got this up into the like 250. I got 250s out of this one. I'm mainly into 240s, but a couple of 250s tweaking out. But I'm excited to get those springs in. And then the sleeper, to be honest, to me, because of the price point and just the improvements, like I feel like this one is just as much improved that the Aeon Pro X, internally, like the plunger tube size is the same. Like the spring is shorter than the Nexus Pro X, but like the robustness of the spring is pretty similar. I'm really impressed with the spring that they actually are offering us. I don't know if people know this, but you can take that Nexus Pro X spring and stick it in a Harrier. A kid in my local club stuck it in his Harrier and it was hitting 330 with the Nexus Pro spring. So the spring offering that they gave us is just, it's a nice offering. So I'm excited to get these other springs in, to be honest. But the Aeon Pro X, what I was saying was I did no spring upgrade on it. This one had about a 4-inch barrel in it. I took the 8-inch barrel that was in a Nexus Pro X because I was going to rebarrel it and stuck it in this. And on fresh darts, it's hitting 200, no spring upgrade, and just a longer barrel. And like used darts, I'm hitting like high 180s, low 190s. So, I mean, and the prime on this compared to a regular Aeon Pro is just, it's so much of a difference. It actually makes me not mind using a top prime blaster. But yeah, I think being short dart dedicated, it helps the whole rigidity of the body, and just priming these feels so much nicer than past Dart Zone. I love Dart Zone past blasters, but like priming these out of the box, like you said, I modded them, but you don't have to. They work right out of the box. Great.
Yeah, no, I had a chance to field both at Blaster Battles this weekend, and let's just say I got a lot of tags, and
Yeah,
I'm
you're
sorry to all the little kids that I kept tagging out. I won't be posting a video of it because I don't think I've gotten so many tags in my life in one round. Yeah, fantastic blasters. But not only do you do that, but I think you're also well known, at least for me, for your integrations. Your Strife integrations are absolutely amazing. Why don't you talk a little bit about how you got into doing that? Because that's really, I mean, these are works of art. If you were at Maryland Mayhem, you would have seen the integration Danny did for me, which was a Super Soaker Strife integration, essentially, which is aesthetically amazing, fantastic. So talk a little bit about your Strife integrations.
Honestly, of course, I'm watching other people do things, and if anybody ever wants to do a cut down Strife, there are 3D printed files from, I think, Hockey 007, I think is the tag name. I think he has them up on Thingiverse, but he has like a template where you can, it'll show you where to cut the blaster, you can cut the lines, and then he has internal printable parts for the Talon magwell as well. So if you want to build one, and that's a much easier route, I kind of watched what other people did, and before he made that kit, and I just drew a line, took a hacksaw, and just started sawing away. I do have some pictures uploaded. I forgot I uploaded pictures. That's not a big deal.
Oh yeah,
but
if we got some pictures,
I think there's some pictures of. There might be some of the Talon magwell where I took the Talon, a Talon adapter,
We got a Raven. The Raven is on screen right now.
Oh, that's my band. So right
There
there.
we go.
Yeah, that's good right there. So a Talon adapter, a regular Springer one, and I just kind of cut it up to where it was very minimal to where I could get it to fit in the cut down strife, and basically a lot of the cosmetics, I don't use a lot of glue. I kind of stare at my junkyard. I stare at my junkyard, look for pieces that screw into it to hold it together. So there are a lot of little pieces that just kind of hold stuff together that are just my drill and a hand screw and a screwdriver, and just putting everyone's putting it together. Every once in a while, I have to use a little bit of glue, and it's like a temporary thing for me. I'm probably going to screw something in place to make sure it doesn't come out. But yeah, a lot of it's just kind of, I don't have like a specific color palette. You know, I know some of my friends do like purple and green or this and that. I kind of just stare at the junkyard, and I call it puzzle piece modding, because I'm not doing a lot of sanding, painting. I'm kind of looking for stuff that already matches that I can just screw to the blaster.
Right.
I think with your Super Soaker has like a big panel from a Titan, you know, and it just looks cool. It's already designed on the Titan, so I just cut that panel out and I just screw it onto that blaster underneath some other panels, and I thought it looked great, and it's such a simple thing, but staring at the junkyard, sometimes it depends. Sometimes I don't think of anything for a month, and I'm just staring at different things, and your blaster, honestly, it moved pretty quick. Most of the pieces it just kind of clicked, where I just kind of found some pieces right away. I was done in just like a few days. That Ravager stripe, actually, I didn't know what I was making, and I kind of was like making up my style of modding still then. At least that style. I do a lot of printing now, but the first product was really ugly, and I just kind of kept staring at the junk pile till I found some Ravager pieces to screw on there, and then I'm like, wow, that looks cool. And no, I'm not going to paint it because I don't like painting. It might look cooler painted up, but
For sure, absolutely. Yeah, I bring that strife build with me whenever I get a booth or a table, just to my setup is just showcasing my blasters that I never get a chance to use because I'm always running events. But yeah, your stripe is always on the display table. So. But it is that time, I think, ladies and gentlemen, 9:37. So I think we are going to wrap up the show at this point, especially since a few of us have to wake up extremely early tomorrow to make our way to Philadelphia for Fan Expo. If you're in the area, come by the Dart Zone booth and say hi to us. But yeah, Danny, really want to thank you for coming on the show. I've been, like I said, I think it's a little serendipitous that we kind of essentially started, the foam zone in its foundation form, in its infancy, if you will say, back years ago, and now here we are years later. Still doing the same thing.
I'm so glad that you're doing it, so I don't have to, because I don't have the time. I'm
That's
so
right.
I like it. I don't tune into everyone, but I try to tune into as many as I can and support.
Yeah.
I love it that it's going on, and I thought it was neat. I'm glad that you guys have the time and the professionalism to put it up with the time schedule that you got going on. Like you said, you got to get up. So
yeah,
yeah,
we're trying. We're faking it until we're making it. We will do what we can until we figure it out. The village is coming together and building the foundation. So we are in extremely exciting times here as far as foam flinging goes. Any last words that you want to say? Departing words. Where first of all, where can people find? What was that? I'm sorry.
YouTube, tHURsTy4FOAM. I've got Instagram, probably same thing, tHURsTy4FOAM. Facebook, I'm all over the place on Facebook on most of the major pages for like Foam Coalition and Nerf Zero BS and all those different sites. But yeah, I'm a little bit everywhere. What I was saying is got to fire one off, just one off for everybody.
Oh, and I also forgot to mention that Danny is a huge advocate, and myself, for band blaster cages for your stripe setups. Yeah. So live and die by the band blaster cage, the Banshee cage setup for your stripe. All right, let's see it.
All right, let's try one.
All right.
How well did that pick up? All right.
I don't know what happened. I'm sure it was magnificent. So you can find Danny Pack, aka Pac-Man, aka tHURsTy4FOAM on YouTube, IG, on the Facebook groups, and on many Discord channels. Danny, any final parting words before I close out?
No, thanks for having me. Thanks for doing everything you're doing so I can continue to enjoy the hobby. And I'm glad I met you. It's been fun.
Likewise, brother. Appreciate you. So friendly reminder, if you haven't done so already, please give us a thumbs up. Tell your friends, family to like and subscribe. Also, register yourself on the worldfoamalliance.org website. Next Wednesday, we'll be back with our regular scheduled programming of Get Off My Lawn with our good friends Al the Geek and Captain Xavier. Not quite sure if they're going to have a guest on, but we will let you know, of course. And then I will be back the following week with another guest who I think is going to be I Shoot Foam, a young designer who's done some design work locally in the area and is just kind of starting to pop up. So that should be a very fun stream. So, but again, I appreciate everyone tuning in for this evening's Foam Zone live stream. I will see you back in a couple weeks. Again, thank you to everyone that was able to make it out to Maryland Mayhem, all our sponsors, vendors, and volunteers. And until then, don't forget to dart sweep. Have a good one, guys.